Hi, I'm Rachel Barton Pine from Chicago, and this is the Ex Bazzini Ex Soldat Guarneri del Gesù from 1742. 1742 is the same year as Paganini's Guarneri del Gesù was made, known as the Canon, and this one has a very similar quality to that famous instrument. It's known as Ex Bazzini Ex Soldat in honor of two of the great violinists of history that played it, the Italian virtuoso Antonio Bazzini in the first part of the 19th century, and then later on, Marie Soldat, who was a protege of Brahms, and Brahms himself selected this instrument for her. She was one of the first violinists to play the Brahms concerto, and she frequently played chamber music with Brahms, which means that this instrument actually got to jam with Brahms, and it's amazing to think of, and I've been lucky enough to jam on it since 2002. You know, it's interesting, most violins can comfortably be played ergonomically or physically by most violinists, but it's always really lucky when you can have a personality match. And I feel like this violin just fits me so well. It's very, very strong and also super loud, which is useful when you're playing concertos, but it can also be absolutely sweet and delicate. It just has the whole entire range, but I guess it's not very politically correct to describe as masculine. And in fact, as I mentioned earlier, one of the great women soloists of history, Marie Soldat, played this violin for her career, and she was actually known as a very strong player. So maybe a better analogy is white wine and red wine. Some violins are just sweeter, and some violins are, maybe more rich and full-bodied, and that's the kind of instrument that I love. And this violin can, not only play all of the classical repertoire from all of the different centuries, but it works great for fiddle music, it works great for rock music, anything I want to do, it's right there. I think it's so important for young people studying music who might aspire to be soloists to learn about all of music as a whole. Of course, chamber music is incredibly important to learn how to make music in an intimate ensemble with everybody balancing their parts together, who has the leading voice and the accompanying voice and the supportive voice, and how you're trading that off back and forth. But even with orchestra, to be able to play in an orchestra.
say a couple things about